Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm here to talk to you about the virtual booth. Using immersive animation technology, we were able to create this booth, and we had a client that used it at a large trade show where they were, I believe, getting into it a little bit on the late side. They didn't get the space they wanted, and as a result, they wanted to make a bigger impression than they really could in the real world at this point. So we had proposed this idea to them sometime before, and they've remembered it and came back to us and said, "Remember the virtual booth?" And we built it for them. What you're seeing now in this movie capture is one of the auto cameras that is kind of zooming around this booth and showing you the different stations. And this is a pre-programmed camera that starts running when you hit one of the hotkeys. And there's a number of these. You can have as many as you like in your booth that are going in different places, and this is one that we felt showed a good route through the booth and showed all the main features. And it was running in this way for people that didn't want to navigate through it, and as it just showed on the screens at the show. This type of technology is great for many things, for building this booth. Firstly, I guess that they really couldn't do in the real world, and has a lot of the panels and movie screens. They didn't have a movie at this point to show, but if they did, it would be playing there on the screen. So we used some different panels and things that they had developed. Really, this is great for that type of application. Also, if there you can see we just switched the camera to more of a rotating around the outskirts of the booth. So as I mentioned, many of these auto paths are available to make and program in different ways that you feel you want to show different people different sides of the booth. The real power comes in the navigation of the booth, where you can control where the camera goes and click on panels and click on things that you normally would watch in the real world, but here they're virtual, and you can have them available on any computer, whether it's over the internet through a disc that was created and handed out at the show. So here I'm going to show you a little bit of the navigation on looking at the sculpture here. I can begin to walk around inside this booth. So walking around, looking at things, looking at panels. Can focus in on that. If I wanted to click there and bring up a PDF file or print something, these are all capabilities that can be done with immersive animation, where you could really not do them very well with a traditional type of animation. You can go forward, go back, turn around, look at different things, and kind of be inside of the booth in this virtual kind of way. Also, say you have a booth and you want to look at it before it's built. You don't only have to create this type of booth, which was purely the imagination of our art team, and designed it the way they wanted with client feedback. This booth could exist already. That you want to look at a panel, you want to look at the color scheme, or you want to look at the carpet, or you want to look at any number of things that you can change and put into this booth and look at it before you spend the money to build it. That's another advantage of this technology. As you can see, there's quite a few things that can be done with it, and the idea itself virtual trade shows, virtual booths have been around, but this implementation of it is using our immersive animation technology brings it to a level of realism that hasn't been seen in the past. So that's really the main thing that we want to show you, is that this is a new level of realism that we're capable of creating. The other great thing about this booth that I'll show you here in a sec is that it is not only this type of immersive booth, but it's also capable of going into a 3D stereoscopic mode, where when you're wearing the special glasses, you're able to see things popping out at you and see real 3D. So I'll go ahead and switch it into the color code mode. And this is color code 3D. This is a technology that's featured in the immersive animation, and allows you to have another dimension into the booth. So if you have your glasses on, if you could put those glasses on, or if you've got them, and take a look at this sculpture, you'll see that it's now 3D. More 3D than it was. It's tricking your eyes into seeing a stereo picture. So I'm sure you're familiar with that type of technology in the past, but here you're doing it in real time, and you're able to change it, change in and out of it. If you want it, it's there. We'll rotate around the booth, and here it's still in stereo mode. You can kind of see some of these distance, things in the foreground, things in the distance. This particular client used this feature. They branded the color code glasses with their logo, and it was a great hit at the show, where people were looking at it and taking the booth and taking the glasses with them, and who knows where they end up and how many people end up looking at this. Kind of lives on in that way after the show. People haven't seen it before. Very unique. And for us, it's just a matter of changing some of the programming, and having it say, okay, this is going to be stereoscopic. So there's a lot of, it's very open-ended. There's a lot you can do with this concept. I hope we've been able to show you just a taste of what's possible with the virtual booth and immersive animation technology.